Set in 1980s England, Enid is a film censor tasked with determining what is and is not appropriate for audiences to see. She spends her days trimming frames of gory scenes, exposed genitals, and sexual acts in video nasties. After viewing a strangely familiar video nasty, she sets out to solve the past mystery of her sister's disappearance, embarking on a pursuit that dissolves the line between fiction and reality. Set in Margaret Thatcher's era, when British conservatives were in panic about media's influence on society, this movie seems set out to defend the use of violent imagery in movies, but ends up reaffirming the opposite as Enid descends deeper into her psychosis. She has become numb to the constant barrage of video nastiness in front of her eyes. The filmmakers knows they are onto something with this meta-textual yarn. It's a movie about movies, and specifically about watching movies, but the harder they work to flesh out the subtext, the less threatening it feels. The film's genre antecedents are numerous. The difference is that those movies gleefully cop to filmmaking's power as a destructive force inducing violent revolution or apocalypse. This movie, on the other hand, comes to the medium's defense. Most overtly, after Enid's professional confidence is shaken by tabloid allegations that a real-life murder was inspired by a scene in a film that she allowed to pass uncut, the film later includes a conspicuous line of dialogue and exonerating the film. The story starts to lose steam pretty quickly. The second act is a mess, muddling the narrative without any clear sense of purpose. The film does rebound a bit in a third act, which has a few entertaining sequences, but the whole thing never really comes together. Beyond these issues with the script and pacing, the movie runtime is only 84 minutes, and yet managed to feel draggy in its slow-moving first hour and rushed in its eventful climactic segment. The movie spends a fair bit of time at the beginning on broader cultural exposition that doesn't really matter as the narrative progresses. Another problem is Enid's character. She may be complex, but she's not very interesting. If she believes that the filmmaker had something to do with her sister's disappearance, she should be angry at these people. She should have a game plan. Instead, she's reduced to fighting a largely imagined enemy, and despite the power she wields against other people's narratives in the cutting room, she ultimately has little agency in her own story. That approach doesn't make it particularly compelling drama. It wants so badly to be an intelligent portrayal of one woman's struggle with grief that it never reaches the level of nightmarish melodrama that it constantly feigns toward. The movie also hints at a bit more of an ensemble dynamic early on that ends up not being the case. Overall, the movie dwells on its own discussions of gory and outlandish set pieces in other films, but dragged down by an incohesive narrative. The story just doesn't work, and it runs out of steam before the gory, blood-soaked climax, which plays out in disappointingly predictable fashion. There are too many ideas left unexplored to make for a compelling experience.